All right, my friends, here we go. I'm dealing with screaming children, dude. I'm dealing with a lot. The people at US Chess are apparently mad at me. It touches my coconuts that they're mad at me. Maybe it was right that they're mad at me. I don't know. I call them useless in a podcast, and now they're just infuriated. At least some of them are infuriated. It's the problem with the podcast, dude. If you want to have a podcast and speak your mind, you're going to ruffle some feathers, and then, man, I don't know. So we got a hype train going. Nice. Hello, Pepper Chess. All right, 18 months in a row. That's great. So what we're going to do today is a little different. Let me put it this way. In the graduation show, which is now 30-some people a week, it's like a 2-day long affair. And hopefully people enjoy it when I take a look at their profile, take a look at their games. And the problem there is, obviously, we're just looking at people who are graduating, and that was the idea of top of the cohort. So I look at people who are really working hard but haven't made it yet. Definitely will continue that. But also, we were talking about it, and it was right, there's a lot of people out there who are doing the work of looking at other people's games. It's an essential part of the dojo. And we were thinking about it, me and Kostya and Jack, yesterday, and we were like, oh, these people, it's they're doing more than their share. And because they're generally higher rated, they're not getting their games looked at for two reasons. One, there's not that many people above them. And then two, what's happening is it's just harder to graduate once you're higher rated. If you are, let's say you've worked your way up to 1900 and you have been at it a while, it would be a monumental event to crack 2000. I mean, let me just say, as someone who's coached people at this level, it is a big struggle. A lot of people out there make it seem like it's easy or something. No, this will not be an easy affair. And speaking for myself too, me graduating would be a big deal. In fact, what I told Kostya I was going to do, and I think I'm going to do it right now, is I'm going to demote myself. I want to demote myself. I told myself I had fallen, I was 2,400, then fell to 2,375. And then I had a bad tournament, lost one game, and I fell to 2,373. So then it was oh, Baus, you gotta change this. So how do I, this is actually really important. Jack says it's easy, but I think what I just do is I go like this. Is that it? Or do I go edit profile? I think I go like this, and I go pop. And then there's maybe a save button somewhere. Manage subscription, save. So now it says I'm 23-24. There it is. Kostya is also he's having even a worse time than me. So he's also going to ungraduate himself. It's very frustrating, of course, to fall down like this. We can talk about the rating deflation or something like that. In any case, I feel pretty confident that I've been training hard enough that I'm going to at least make it back to 2,400. 2,500, I don't know, I might be too old, but I'm going to make it there. I also just want to be honest in the sense that I also want people, it's not everybody who's graduating, it's going to be a lot of people like me hitting some kind of trough, and you'd just be like, Baus, if I fell below 2,400 and I was like, if a couple months or below more than 25 points, then I'll demote myself. So there it is, Baus. I demoted myself. Let's see if we could do, actually, there's the scoreboard. Right there is me, Pruess, and Javi Tech Bro. Javi Tech Bro is not quite there, but still. Javi Tech Bro's killing it, dude. That guy's killing it. Actually, let's click on that dude for a second. And are they active? So hasn't been doing the time, hasn't been submitting games, but this kid is really strong, obviously. I'm a weightlifter. I don't know if I'd call myself a weightlifter. I do CrossFit, and then CrossFit has some weightlifting in it. Yeah. Okay, so let's get on with the show. These are the people I'm going to do in this particular order. We're going to do Nose, Coolmaster X, Falk, M. Norris, Laurent, Das Debug, DeProwl, Kevin, and Hubsker. Those are the people we're looking at today. Pepper Jazz dropped 2 cohorts. I worked my way back up through 1, and I'm a few points to being back to the cohort I was in. Nice, dude. M. Norris is here. Nice. Yeah, Kostya's new rating. He really had a terrible tournament this last time around, man. Terrible. Okay, so here we go. You can find anybody by going up here and going user search. And I would say of all the people who are really helping in the dojo, Nose is doing... Oh, how come it says he's inactive? And how come... Wait a second, is that his real profile? Hold on, he might have 2? Oh, yeah, so there's 2. Somehow he's got a second one. So... let me just talk about it for a second. So a key part of the dojo is this idea of plus minus equal. That means that you have a cohort with whom you work, study, spar. And maybe you look at the games together of a book. Maybe you do a post-mortem on your game. And those are the kinds of people that you don't want to be mean about it, but you might have a difference of opinion and you might fight it out a little bit, and that's fine as long as it's civil, right? Argue. And then there's people above you, and it's not like you have to take their word for it, but you should be like, when they say something, you should open your ears more instead of just being reactive. You should be like, okay, let's hear what they're saying, right? It's very important. And then also this minus, what's critical to understand is it's not just for the benefit of the minus that you do work with the minus, right? Somebody below you. It is critical that you explain yourself and your ideas to this person in your own words. Very underestimated, and this principle is a thing of the dojo, but it can be applied to anything, right? Learning anything. And Nose is, I would say, the most active person in terms of helping others. All these people on this list are doing a great job, but I think Nose is like, boom, he's doing a lot. He's also doing some like classrooms and classes with people. Check him out. Okay, so let's go check out his activity. And dude, look at this. He's got 830 hours, bro. Dang, 274. Really good macro breakdown. Yeah, I like that his openings are not extreme. And if anything, it seems like his games and analysis quadrant is not as big as it should be. Yeah. Okay. Actually, here, we can click on coaching. And this is really cool. Look at this. These are his coaching sessions that you can book. Super cheap. Super cheap. I don't know why it's so cheap. I don't know. In any case, really cool. So let's actually look. I think he's in Austin. I know he's in Austin. So there's the Austin Dojo. Here's the activity. And the other thing, when you look at his ratings, he's playing a kind of weird game with the ratings because I think I understand the game. In any case, he could graduate based on ChessCom, but his USCF isn't there yet. You can see, like, it just might take a while to catch up. One of the mini bummers, actually, of the using the ChessCom that I have intimate experience with that with, is when you play rapid on ChessCom, so that's like 30, let's say you're playing 30-0 or anything slightly higher than that. Well, first of all, you can get a rapid with 10-0. But for the purposes of the dojo, you want to be playing longer games. So my student Jamil, playing over there, it's just infested with cheaters once you get to the rapid. once you get to the rapid. I think in blitz, it's just harder to cheat. And then also in rapid, I think the temptation is just too much for these people. So I would say about 2 in every 5 players, and Jamil's around 2050. We're trying to get up to 2050, which would be the graduation mark. At that level, that's when it got extreme. Like there were cheaters before, because he worked his way up from like 1200, and it was this cool journey. I have these videos like Jamil makes 1900, yada, yada. But the cheaters have been so extreme that it's just like, this has become useless. But he's still obsessed with getting that 2050 rating. And I would love to do another YouTube video called Jamil Makes 2100. That's been a goal for a while. But the cheaters have been so extreme. And I think it's mostly the rapid pool, right? Like, yes, there's cheaters in blitz, but that rapid pool is extreme. Anyways, I bring it up because I don't know if he's playing on that rapid pool. It's the same ecosystem, right? And we got Quad XE. I'm going to put him on this list too. Okay. So, all right. I really respect what he's doing, because he's basically saying, I'm waiting for my USCF to get higher. He's doing great, and it's just going to take a little bit, right? Oh my God, we got so many people. I don't know if we're going to get to all these people. Someone else also mentions JT here. Okay, so let me get it going. My time is limited in the sense that my kids will freak out at some point. All right, so we have the activity. I just want to click around a little bit. Endgame looks great. I love they did the REP match. And then we got middle games of strategy. He defamed New York 1924, actually. He defamed it, dude. I think he defamed Zurich 1953. He's a defamer of all books that are written in the last millennium. He doesn't like those books, dude. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Everyone, Pruess thinks Fyodor is the greatest player of all time, and then Nose has this problem, Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at one of Nose's games. This looks like an OTB. This is perfect for us. I'm going to guess this. Okay, so this is the Austin Chess Club. I had seen my opponent play the Scandinavian against fellow Dojo member H. White Cheddar, who I believe is also in Austin. Okay, so here we go. So far, okay. Right. And this was a move that you saw way back in the day. And with the advent of computers, this D4 move has kind of taken over. It's still kind of playable for white, but it's just a nice position. And the computer, though, really likes space. So it's going to want this D4 move. It looks like, it's getting a kind of Benoni. A5's interesting. Okay. Now white has to make a judgment call. Knight C3. Knight C3 is a frisky move, dude. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's a little bit hard for me to believe Knight C3. Nose likes it. All right, let's push him around. Okay, and now Nose plays Knight C6, which can't be wrong, but also why not Knight C6? Why not C5? To me, it seems like black's better. I guess we could continue the variation with like D3, Knight C6, Bishop F4. But he's not really threatening anything. on knight c7. So we could play like knight e8, knight d7 is probably also moved. Knight e8 looks best. And then we're playing for f6, e5. In any case, I think knight c6 is probably also okay. It could be interesting. Bishop e2 doesn't strike me as correct. And I think bishop c5 makes more sense. Right. And queen f3, he had this exact position before against an fm, and I knew that the correct idea is to burn it all down with a4. Okay, so let's talk about what black is doing with bishop g4. We are going to give white the light square bishop in return for saying that our pawn on d4 will be completely solid. And if that pawn is solid, then knight b5 and bishop b2 are cut out of the game. So, h3, it's amazing that he's had all these moves before. He's had this with this queen f3, a4 thing. It's interesting. And then he's talking about maybe bishop c5, maybe queen d7. Well, this is a really good annotation. So he's saying he doesn't like this, and says white's a little bit better, which I'm going to say okay. I'm okay with that judgment. Okay. So, bishop c5, good. Lacks the necessary oomph. I actually just reviewed a game. It was a game 45 from this recent tournament I had, and I was on the it was reverse colors, but a similar thing where I had a pawn on d4. I guess I would say I had an advantageous version of what Nose has here. And the really interesting questions are about whether white can organize b4. Here, I really like the bishop. Obviously, the bishop on f3 is amazing. And this bishop probably needs to be here. And we need trades. All right, so he talks about bishop g2 and d3, or okay, so d3. Okay, knight d8, good move. Okay. Now, I gotta say, I'm still worried about our position here. Knight d8's cool, we're gonna push the knight back, but I'm still concerned because I find it hard to believe that we're gonna prevent knight c2, a3, b4. And it's at least not immediately obvious to me that black is gonna get counterplay. It's really hard to attack this king when the bishop is on g2. I don't like that move. And at least I don't understand what the point is, right? Black is going to have to play c6 anyway, by the way, because you want to play probably knight e6. So let's start knight e3. Let's just say c6 for a second. Knight c2. let's just put knight e6. We can change our minds later. And then a3. This is what concerns me. And white will play b4, and it's a little bit unpleasant. A little bit unpleasant. And like long term, we can't stop it. If we play queen d6, he's got queen d2. And once that goes down, I'm concerned. So this seems incorrect. Okay, overprotection. Good. Bishop f8, b4. Okay, so white basically got what he desired. And now rook takes e6 is interesting. I don't know quite how Nose feels about the position. To me, it seems clear that white's better, but maybe he doesn't feel that way. Queen d2, bishop g7, now h4. I don't know about h4. Let's flip it. So this is actually a moment. It would be cool to know the times. Do we have any times here? No. Oh, we do have times. Amazing. So white is 45 minutes here. What was there? How long did they play for h4? Only 1 minute. Because that was my question. I was like, how long did white think about h4? Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. This would be the moment to really spend some time. I guess actually this would be the moment here. And the reason I would pick this moment is I kind of want my bishop this way. I can't do it yet because this guy will hang, right? With A, B, rook A1, knight A1, bishop B4. But I would like my bishop ideally maybe to be on this diagonal. One nice thing for white is there's no pressure against, there's no weak point for white, right? So, right, I would believe white is better here. He does need a plan. I had a game once where I played, actually it was in my annotations that I found this nice rook e2, knight e1, knight f3 idea. I don't know if it's so great right here, but that's one reroute that we can think about. Now, let's say the obvious. At some point, I might want to play b5, but when I do, I give away this square. If I double on the e-file, I give away some kind of rook a2 counterplay, which might not be that impressive. And this h4 move, maybe it's not so bad. Let's give it a try. Okay, h4, knight h5. So white puts a little pressure on black, and then black plays what Nose calls a stinker. It certainly does look poor. And here's a moment to think about what we should do. He talks about h5. And then he's talking about this position. Personally, one of the reasons I don't even know if I want to play h4 is, would I really, really ever want to take that knight? No, I don't want to take that knight on g4. I'm not interested at all. So, king g2 is maybe weird. Knight f8. He's talking about, not king g2, but 26. One thing, actually, that we're working on at the site is to, when I hit the arrow key, there's some magical thing. I'm just new to this. This is a new feature. But there'd be an arrow key, and then it would give me the list of moves. So like I can see queen e7 and queen d2 are also moves here. In any case, to me, this looks fine for black. I don't want to give him that bishop. I don't want to give him the g4 square. So yeah, play logical chess, rook e2. And this looks pretty good. Yeah, we hold the tension, and if they want to trade on a1, that's fine. Yeah, this is a nice position for white. Okay, so h4, a stinker. I guess with the intention of bishop h3, f5. My opponent clearly believed he had just made progress because now it appears that white is playing for a win. Okay. Well, let's play h5 now. Very good. Queen d1. Okay. White is playing a little bit with fire here. And you played knight h7. Okay, let's flip it back. Because now we should really be dreaming about maybe some kind of g5 thing. I don't know if it works, but at least we can dream, right? I can dream about you. No, I don't think I can dream. You can just play like rook h1 and my business is falling. I can't do knight g4. I don't think so anyway. Okay, so that's not going to work. So knight h7, played with the intention of overprotecting d4 so that f5 can be played and the knight can reach f4, but boy, is it slow. I'm not convinced by white's play, by the way. I can dream about... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, one simple thought here would be AB, AB, rook takes. We can change our minds later if we don't like queen takes. B5. And I guess queen A6 would be the move that would annoy me. And maybe this is too much. It's still pretty hot. So if queen c4, knight d5, I'm basically trying to get my knight here so that I have opportunities to whack-a-mole here. If bishop c6, I don't know, but if I was white, I'd be concerned about that bad boy. That's the thing I would be a little scared of. I don't know if it works. I don't know. No, I don't think that works, because the queen is holding this thing. So, for example, I don't actually have... even here, I got a little juice, boss. You know, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I got some juice. I don't know if that works. Anyways, those are the things I would worry about if I was white. He talks about knight e8. Another basic idea is to move our rook somewhere, intending b5. This is all just to get the knight to this square. And the claim that b8 is never so impressive. Now, this rook takes e6 thing, it is looming over us the whole time. Okay, so very interesting position. Knight h7 definitely doesn't look right. And this has been Nose's obsession for a while here with f5. White transfers. I talked about that forever ago. Yeah, I don't know if he's really threatening. I do like the bishop on that diagonal. Knight f6. Yeah. I'm not afraid of b8. Let me put it that way. Wait, I don't like what White's done the last couple of moves. So hold on. White's kind of just hanging out, dude. White's just kind of hanging out. He needs a plan, bro. White's the one who needs a plan. I don't know about b8 is ever such a thing. I can dream about you. No, it's not. I mean, let's be clear. Like, what is White doing? Like, King G2, maybe. But what are we doing? These positions are really hard to judge. I still don't understand. Yeah, let's play rook e2, bud. That's what we've been trying to do this whole time. Let's play rook e2. Okay, king g2. I do think we need to stop knight g4. One of the reasons I was not a huge fan of h4. f5, I don't know. Okay. And then black passes with king h7. We're getting into the time pressure zone now for Nose here. And knight g4 definitely looks good with knight e5. Personally, now I think black is definitely better. White's given us the a-file bows. He's given us the a-file. We got knight g4 ideas now. Someday maybe f4 ideas. Yeah. And he notes f4. And this is a nice variation with rook a2. A great variation. So yeah, knight g4 bows. I mean, you're in control. You are in control. Now, one thing I'll say about, let's say, this 1900 level, right, is they're not hanging anything, but they're losing time often because they don't know what to do. And for GMs too, it's not always easy to know what the hell to do. You can see I was struggling to find plans and positions too. But here, right, we're just like, I don't know. But knight g4, now once you see it, you're like, oh, it's a powerful knight. He doesn't want to trade, right? And we got the knight e5 stuff going on. This is clearly White's intention. How strong is it, though, especially if you have knight g4 coming? And he talks about knight g4. First of all, though, I want to see what's wrong with c5. I don't know if it's actually wrong yet. Rook a1. And now we go knight g4. Then he's got this move. And now you played knight f1. And then this is a nice variation. Rook a1, queen a1, knight c7. He talks about bishop b7, knight b5. Personally, I think definitely black is better. Well, black's better here. So there's no taking on b7. And on bishop f3, he says knight e5. Now, he says white's better, but I think he actually means black is better. Right? So bishop d5, it's not true. It's not true that this move is rocking your coconuts. However, wouldn't have been better for dude to have gone snip, snap, bishop d5. So that knight c7, we have bishop b7. Now, I assume the game would continue with like rook e8, but I don't know exactly what's happening. By the way, what has white done? He's killed his knight. He has killed his knight. There's another thing that happens at this level. That a lot of times they're not sensitive to their pieces becoming horrible. So I don't think c5 was a bad move. Here, rook a8 seems correct because that's incorrect because of rook a1. We then play knight f8, and what's happening? We're not being sensitive to the bad piece, right? And here, this is a little bit of maybe sadness. Maybe this is sadness. I can't believe it's easy for white until the knight on c2 fixes itself. Until then, I'm not totally convinced. For example, in this position, I play here. I don't know. Maybe I am lost, but I'm just saying it's going to require a variation before I'm convinced. Like maybe queen e7, queen a2, queen f7. That might be my glorious end or inglorious end. Even there, knight h6, I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Yeah, it's still it's still a little hot, and we have other moves too. So I'm just saying I don't know if that's the best variation. I'm just saying with this knight stinking his position, we should believe that we have resources. Okay, so you went here. F3. Good move. Yeah, and here it's the real bummer is knight e3 is in some ways a thematic sack. However, the however there is that we're fixing his bad piece. Okay, so that is a great find in the analysis. And then, okay, so what this means is bishop f6 is a mistake. And to what degree? What degree are we crispy critters here? Maybe we are. Maybe we are. Wait a sec. I mean, yeah, I'm going to say it's not clear to me. Even bishop f6 here, well, bishop f6, he still might have that f3 move, which would be really annoying. We definitely don't want to trade queens. I'm with him there. Actually, like let's say we do play queen d7 here, and it looks at first glance it looks lost, but the knight. That knight on e1, he's going to have to fix itself. We are threatening things like knight e5. And if he goes after us, it's not immediately clear that we're goners here. We might be goners, okay? I'm not going to lie. But the only way this is going to be goners is if he fixes his knight. All right. And, yeah, the good news for him is on knight e5, he's got knight e1. Anyways, okay. Good analysis. Queen d2, definitely a missed chance. King g7, and Nose talks about queen g7. And I guess what we're saying here is both players didn't see f3 until, you know, white found it on the next move. Nordovich, Nose didn't graduate. We're doing, I'm covering the people who are systematically going over other people's games. And so I'm just, you know, giving a chance. It's also a really nice game to look at here. So queen g7. And then, yeah, this is a real bummer because on knight e5, dude has snip and queen g5. Yeah, and now we are, and it's so sad now. It's so sad because now we're the one with the chum knight, and we're the one with, obviously without a pawn, but we're the one who fixed his, but white's poor piece. Check the miserable king. Queen e8. Yeah, I think we're a goner here. Was this as good as it should have been? I don't know. Wait, we're going to go back. We're just going to see some by the way, crazy things happen. Look at this. They're down to, he's got 3 minutes. His opponent's got 1. What the hell happened here? What happened here? Oh. So wait a second. So some good analysis here. Bishop h3, and then knight g6. Not a move you should feel bad about because you've got a couple minutes left. Let's see how long he spends on it. He spends a minute. That's about all you got left. Yeah. Well, it makes sense that black has some chances here. So he analyzes king f6. Well, that was a great game, dude. That was a great game. I think both players in the maneuvering play had a little bit of anxiety about the wrong things. And not that I would play this position perfectly either. I like this a5 stuff. I think it's amazing that Nose had the same position once before. Why this bishop d4 thing? And this one I don't like. I don't like taking over here. Yeah. I thought that was an instructive mistake. It's just a loss of time. Can't be that bad, but... I like your h5 business. And actually, that's the kind of move that you now get because of the tempo rook e1 that he gave to you. Right. And we've seen too, if he just gives your knights any kind of hold on the king side, you are going to get counterplay. So to me, especially from a practical perspective, h5 is a great move. Yeah. Okay, that was really good. That was really great. Okay, so Renga's played him. I don't know if I'm going to have as much time as that with the following reviews. I don't have to do them all at once either. So let's go and do the next one. By the way, actually, I'll show you guys how I came onto this. I was doing the graduation show yesterday, on Thursday, and there was a shout out here to Cool Master X, M. Norris, Lauren, and Sleepy. And I was like, oh yeah, we talked to Kostya about it. We should, cover these people. Okay, so let's go over here and we're gonna look for user search, cool. There he is, Cool Master X, boom. Chess enjoyer from Sweden, nice. Dude is obviously flying up, look at that rating gain. And we got some activity. Looks good. Dude's not logging his time. Skipping leg day. Skipping leg day, dude. He's a chronic skipper of leg day. Clubs, no clubs. And this is a fairly recent game. Let's check it out. I did some recon on my opponent. Okay, here we go. So, this is part of the Dojo Open. Dojo aggressive repertoire. Bishop d3 is fine. Bishop g5 is part of the repertoire. So, boom, boom, boom. Now, let me think about this for half a second. I think this is in it. Wait a second. I want to just get this right. So, Bishop g5 is a normal seeming move. I'm just scrolling my memory banks for the move order issues. My gut feeling is that Queen a5 followed by Queen a6 is stronger. Okay, this is all fine though. c5, frisky. Black did go for c5. This is the end of my prep. Right, and as I said, dude needs to play Queen a6, but then c4 happens and it's really freaky. So here, I'll tell you my little theoretical understanding. So if we start from this position, by the way, Bishop d3 is a fine move. And then we go Queen b6, Bishop d3, Bishop takes, Queen takes. If they now play e6, this is this whole thing with Queen takes b2, right? It's no bueno. But if they now play e6 instead of Queen a6, then Knight d2, Queen a6, c4 is a very hard position for Black to actually face. And I did this whole Chessable course on it. So then if we change up the move order, it's obviously the same thing. And here they need to go, I think, Queen a5, Queen a6, pronto. Pronto. Okay, so here we go. And now c5 is too frisky. I think c4 is a good move here. Good move. Yeah. Knight e7. Let's develop. Good. Knight c6. Let's develop. Probably okay. This move is an obvious strategic concession. My thought at the time is that Black has the threat to take on e5, and after my response, Knight takes e5, Black plays f6. Right, but the problem is this is insane. This is absolutely insane for black because, well, white has a number of moves and black is just getting his piece back. You know, so regardless of whatever we do here, I mean, he's talking about knight g6, but, you know, this is horrendous for black, like no bueno. So he was afraid of a ghost. And after castles, I really don't like black's position. Even if they win the pawn on e5 somehow, it's like they are going to get mated, bows. Mated. So bishop e3, castles. Knight g6, he could have thought about maybe knight f5 too. We could have thought about queen a6 in that position. I think queen a6 would have been a little annoying. So what, we're giving a pawn away? Okay. Now notice in the annotations here, white is a little despondent. When I don't think we're ready to be despondent here. So maybe you miss knight h4 completely, but in this position, let's say we play knight c5. Don't we have a good play? If b6, we play knight d3. We're holding our pawn. If bishop takes, rook takes, we're not going to, yeah, we're fine. So in this position, I don't know. It seems like we're being despondent here. Rook ac1, I assume the intention is to snip snap, rook c7 is compensation. It feels like that way to me anyway. So here, just knight c5 and you're doing fine. Now we're down a legitimate pawn. Okay. In principle, castles is a mistake by black because his king would actually like to stay in the center. The whole knight d2, knight takes f3 thing, I'm not sure I like. But in any case, let's highlight this mistake by black. Better would be a move like rook d8 or h4. Because the king is undeveloping itself when it takes like this. And now it's inviting the rook in. Oh my gosh. Now we're not lost. Now we're not lost. What are we talking about? Now we're fine. Now, I would want to talk about why we're not playing rook takes b7. But, yeah, why aren't we playing rook? What are we doing? Knight h6, passive. Rook takes b7, doing great. So after he won the pawn, black played miserably. This is a highfalutin move. Yeah, I love your position after rook takes b7. e6 still looks dangerous. I don't know about f6. I would want to talk about that. I would want to talk about that one, Mouse. Okay, so look, we can't be doing this, and you talk about rook e1. So he's thinking king f7, knight b5. But even there, I gotta say I'm not 100%. So let's say king f7, knight b5, knight f5, g4, rook e7. Look at this move, knight d6. But I'm still confused. Say we go king f8. Didn't work, right? Didn't work. Okay. So let's go back a second. Black, by the way, playing f6 is highly, highly controversial. Us playing e7, though, is also very committal. So, for example, let's say we play, his knight is toast. His knight will regain manlyhood once we play e7, though, because then he has got this idea. So let's say I build. What is he going to do? That's a real bummer for a dude. Let's say he does a6. Okay. Now, my big question would be, isn't that painful? Right? That's really painful. That's painful. Yeah. Matt Chess, thank you for subscribing. No subscribe, knows happy you're here. Maybe you missed your game. I thought it was a really great annotation. Of course, you can go back and watch it. Yeah, and I like white here. So we lost tempo, right? And here also, I think rook takes e7 still works. And I think both players were thinking this was the end of the world, but then we just play king f8. And maybe I'm missing something, but it seems like black is holding his coconuts together. And here is mine broke. Instead, we have gf, ab, fg, king takes. And we get this kind of longish variation. He's talking about rook e6. Rook d1 also looks like a move where I don't think you should lose, right? Like, why would you go here, here, and here? That costs you a tempo, right? If you want to get the d pawn, just go rook d1, king f7, rook d5. You're going to win this bad boy, or this one. And you should at least be holding this game. All right, his brain broke. And now our brain is gone. Brain is gone. Looks like it was a time pressure thing. And also, let's say something about this. I'm going to guess this was an online game. And look at this, his opponent. One thing I don't like it is when our players lose to people who don't think. This is a Dojo Open, but here, Tom Scope, if you're anywhere in here, buddy, look at this time. Look at your time, boss. See, he stopped thinking. He stopped thinking. So in a way, Cool Master X deserved to win that one. But his brain broke. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. All right, that was Cool Master X. Dude is doing well. Again, this is, I'm trying to just look at some people who are going over the games of others. So next up, we got scoreboard, and we're going to go user search, and we're going to go Mr. Falk. Falk. Obsessed with the game ever since COVID. Nice. So, using Lee Chess. Now, I just ungraduated myself, Falk. You could consider ungraduating yourself, Bows. Yeah, it's rough. Okay. Activity. He's doing some coaching. Yeah. Well, this is great. Nice. Aus Deutschland. So, activity. And if we go back, dude is also, it's kind of weird. He graduated himself, and then the bummer is, I mean, maybe he hit it or something, but the bummer is now it's even harder to graduate again. Okay. So, doing some good work, though. Look at that. And definitely a little light on the middle games and strategy here. Again, middle light. Those are our books. Tactics, I was doing a lot. Okay. Well, looks pretty good. Time breakdown, looks good. All right, so I've looked at Falk's games before. He's been around with us forever. One thing that'll be interesting is, will the lack of middle games and strategy books show up in the games? I.e., will I see somebody who's good in tactics, and maybe weak on strategy. Let's see. I don't know. That would just be like, could I say something about a person's game based on their pie chart? Clubs? Look at all these clubs, dude. Nice. All right. So this is Thomas Wiefel, 90-30 club game. The Europeans have it going on with their club games. Reisfeld Mannschaftskampf. Here we go. Let's flip it around so we can see it from his point of view. Yeah, well, E3, they're just playing chess. Now that's weird. Okay. I was a bit excited, upset, because this just seems to waste time and white's king is still in the center. Okay. So, let's say the correct move for white is going to be something like bishop e2, maybe queen c2, right? But bishop e2 would be a good default move for white. Game should be roughly equal. What happens? They lose time. So you guys have heard me say it before. The problem is so often that players are losing tempi. Now, what's interesting about a3 is that sometimes you could claim, but white could make a claim that if you play d5, I'll get like a Sicilian kind of setup with a hedgehog. But the knight on c3 isn't really well suited for that. So you know I'm going to yell at Falk for a6. We knew this already. Not like it loses the game or anything. And what does he rather want? He talks about d5. Nixon's just play d5. Why do you need a6? Maybe he analyzed the game with Nixon's. Also, maybe there's some kind of... It's hard to imagine there's a book, actually, talking about this position. But yeah, I would rather be black here. I don't know what white's going to do, you know. Maybe this variation, cd, knight d5, queen c2. No, but it's black, you're doing, you know, can't complain. Can't complain about anything. Okay. So a3, loss of time, a6, loss of time. One of the claims I made was that beginning at 1000, we see people are not dropping pieces, but they're dropping tempi. And, well, we see that here. Both sides are losing time. Queen c2. Now, I do think, though, even though I'm critical of a3, that white has an intention of how to play it, like a reverse Sicilian. Now d5. So obviously we've lost a clean tempo on a6, right? And he's saying that cd5 is inaccurate. Okay, now I'm sure what he was worried about was bishop g7, knight e3. Let's say queen c3. Knight c2. Right? That's what he was worried about. I don't know. I'd be worried too. If I go, I don't, king d1. I'm going to take this thing. We take. Looks like black got the better of it there. So maybe there's some magical reason why knight takes c3 doesn't work, but that's why what black or white was afraid of when he played cd5, right? Oh, he's higher rated on his other account. You guys got other accounts and stuff? Jeez, you guys. Other accounts. Okay, so anyway, cd5, bishop d2, pop, bishop c4, queen d6. Whoa. Now, b5 is certainly natural. I feel like I almost looked at this game before. Probably did, huh? I feel like I never remember the beginning, but now I get to this stage, I'm like, I've never seen this before with this H4 stuff. Yeah, I featured this game at some point. Yeah. Okay, so we've seen this, and knight d4. Yeah, I remember it now. Okay, so that's Falk, and Falk has not been doing that many games recently, dude. Yeah. Falk, come back, boss. Come back. If we go activity, let's go last 7 days. He's been doing middle game. He's been working on the middle art of attack. That's good. He's been fixing his lacuna. So we got middle games, tactics. Okay. Yeah. All right, great. Let's move on. Next up, we have M. Norris. M. Norris chess, USCF, 12-19, 30-year-old from Maine, came back after 15 years. Beautiful. Looks good. Cool that they're using the USCF and their other ones are a little higher. Some games, that's little clubs. A New England dojo. I was just asking myself if there's going to be a Maine dojo. Now, let me just ask a question here. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but isn't Maine not technically part of New England? Let me know. Let me know. I thought people were excited about that. I thought that was one of the things they got excited about. All right, so games. Boom. Jesse says it's about time. Yes, it is. Okay, so here we go. Fine. Incorrect. DE5. That's a good note. It's a really good. So now he says it's clearly better. I kind of agree. And now it's, good assessment. And Black, I kind of like Black's move. I don't know if it's his best move, but I like it in that Black is saying, you know what, Baus, I know I'm down a pawn and stuff, but I could care less. This is maybe a little highfalutin, but one trick I know about this position, positionally, is that this pawn is not great on this square. That's a little highfalutin, but okay, I'm just gonna leave that there. So boom, boom, bishop f4. We could talk about other moves, of course. I don't know about that. Knight d5 definitely makes sense. Now, if you don't like bishop f4, well, you can consider something else. A very simplistic move, for example, would just be bishop b5. Because one thing we can say is it would be cool if we traded off the light square bishop so that our king could have a safe, secure home on c2. That would be nice. So bishop f4 is probably... I'm not going to yell at you, though, because you didn't lose any time there. Bishop c4, okay. This person's not really developing, but maybe it's a worthy threat. Boom. Cheap tricks. They're losing time. Yeah. Good. Good. Now, what we're seeing here, I think, is somebody in the dojo crushing somebody who's not in the dojo simply because they don't understand that time is important. Bishop a2 has to be strong. And now king e2. That's a pretty impressive move, I think. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. The other move, by the way, that made sense to me here was just bishop e6. And the point there, like I said, is I'd like to put my king here. It's just the most harmonious square for my king. Okay. Bishop c4 is a very highfalutin move, dude. Oh, that's very nice, dude. So that's a nice find. Okay. Check to the miserable king. There we go, Vows. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo, Vows. Look at this guy. He didn't appreciate the time was important. He's let himself get all slapped around here with 95. Come on, buddy. Maybe you could tell him next time, you'd be like, Vows, next time maybe you can develop your coconuts, you know? That's what you can tell him. Check to the miserable king. Check. That's not check. Still. That was great, M. Norris. I like that one a lot. Do you think the game analysis loses some value for old games? Maybe some, but you know, it's still not a bad thing to do. That was great, M. Norris. I really like that one. And let's click on M. Norris one more time. And they're doing pretty good, man. Look at this, 84 hours. Yeah, good macro distribution. Yeah, what are they doing non-dojo? The Yusupov series lessons. Okay, good, good. And as we saw, it's you know, I was talking about this show is all about people who are doing work for others, and we saw in the notes that Nose had helped M. Norris out here. Okay, so here we go. Let's do the next person. And then we got Laurent. Laurent is an old-time dojoer for sure. Voop. And 51 years old. Math teaches 3 sons, 2 playing competitive. I believe in France. Let me see the clubs if that's confirmed. European, yeah. So, activity. Yeah, wait, ratings first. Look at that rating graph. Bows. Oh, he's close. He's close to 2,000, my friends. Well, and what happened is he just got a boost. He just got, well, it would have been a tiny boost because he's so close to 2,000. Maybe it was that thing right there. Whoop, I don't know. He got some kind of FIDE boost. It wasn't a lot. Yeah, so that's good. Has a higher OTB than the other ones. Nice. Okay, and his sons are playing too. Okay, this is great. So, dude has been doing the work. Look at that. Absolutely doing the work. And will he be poor with middle games of strategy? I don't know, but that's where he's lacking. That's where he's lacking. It's really crushing with the games and analysis. Yeah. Let's click on this games analysis. And here, as you can see, he's reviewing games with a minus. We will probably expand this in some way in Dojo 3.0, the way we score it and the way we encourage it. It's like we're seeing with these annotations. It's a key part of the dojo that we have people reviewing other people's games. Remember, it's not just for their benefit that you review their games. It's for your benefit. Okay, so let's take a look and see how Laurent is looking here. So these are all fairly recent games. I would like one that is OTB. Let's just click on this bad boy. OTB 90-30. This is a very bad game. Still under the euphoric effect of the March FIDE rating boost. Okay. The euphoria. But your opponent got some boost too. Actually, no, he was over 2,000. He didn't get any boost. He was eager to face you. This is fine. I can hear Jesse shout time here. Yep. This is a typical time-wasting move as I'm on my way to trade all my developed pieces. Just watch and don't do it. Okay. So, this, by the way, is a kind of clever way I feel that Black has played. And why? Because when Black puts the bishop on e7, and that's what knight d7 is intending, there will be what I call negative tension with these two bros looking at each other. Because in this position, White really doesn't want to ever trade off this bishop. In fact, what's going to happen with this knight e4 move is not only are we going to be losing time, but we are going to be encouraging that trade. And that's, in fact, as I can see, is how it plays out. So several other moves come to mind here. C4, and the other move here that's interesting is just E3. E3. The intention of E3 would be to say, look, Bows, when you play E5, and I'm just going to kick it, if you ever play E4, I will have a good French because my bishop is outside the pawn chain. Remember, I mean, as white now, I'm playing a French if black plays E4. Okay, so knight D2, maybe a little rote, and then that's terrible. And now I guess we'd rather be black, right? We'd rather be black now. DE5, knight E5, knight E5, DE5. Black is now better because they're up in time. Queen E5, black is also better. I would intuitively prefer Queen E5, but DE5 is fine. So, why would I prefer it? Because I think you probably have to waste another tempo dealing with this pawn. E3. And he says E4 should be close to equal. I'm going to say no way is it close to equal because black is up 2 tempi. I've got this dude out. Oh my God, what are we talking about? I'm well on my way. I'm up so much time here. There's no way this is equal. Now, was E4 that much better than E3? I don't know. He could have done that on E4 too, though. Queen C1. Bishop F5. Okay. Now, this goes down. I'm not convinced yet by this. Maybe it is hurting my coconuts. Okay, well, you castle, and I just want to say my big question here is King E2. Are you okay on King E2? My first glance says it should be okay. It's a little hot, but our intention is on Queen A6, we play Queen C4. If here, we're just going to kick it. Maybe also Queen. Well, it depends on the move order that he's going to play. Yeah. So the king's a fighting piece. When you go, then you're definitely suffering. And it might be toast. C6. I don't understand H4. H4 feels like the move of somebody who's like, like, I gotta go do something crazy now, but you doing something crazy just is gonna make the whole situation worse. So if we were gonna move a pawn, it should be like H4, or even King F1. I realize we just left the party, but King F1 would be clever, or maybe not clever because of then E4. Maybe that's also killing us. But that's just where I want my king. That's why I'm upset that we left the party. So H4, if anything, G3 or H3. King F1 now, E4. And this is a good idea, by the way. Notice there's no need for the pawn to be way out here. So he goes for it. And this is fun. It might be just fun for him. Now, what's happening here? I mean, if he gets this, we're gone with queen g3. No, we're toast. Got some adventures here. And then this has got to be a goner. Okay, so one of the things we can just summarize in this is even at the 2000 level, 1900 level, where Lauren's at, it's like 94. It's about time. even knew I was going to yell at him, dude. Yeah. When in doubt, play E4, H4. That's right. Okay. I see some people are shouting at me on the Discord. The boys, the other senseis are chatting back and forth about Kraai, my take on USCF, and then USCF is mad at me, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so user search. I'm always the bad guy, by the way, too. I'm always the bad guy. We're going to look at DOS debug here. DOS debug has also helped a lot of people lower than him. Notice that, you know, you might say to yourself, oh, I'm only 1,200. I can't help people. No, you can help people, man. Those people in the under 1,000s, honestly, for you to explain what's going on, fantastic. For you, it's not just for them. So DOS debug looks like they could graduate Lichess if they wanted to. So maybe they're just waiting. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting. Activity. DOS debug's doing the time, doing the work. And they've just, maybe they demoted themselves or something. I don't know. Clubs. Nice. Oh, he's in Asia maybe. All right. Games. And these all look like online games. Let's take a look. Okay, so here we go. Playing the Dojo repertoire, yeah. Right, bishop e6. Critical position number 1, left the opening knowledge. This move took me out of book. I was expecting bishop g4 or knight g4. Yeah, and bishop e6, let's call it a principled move. So it shouldn't be that bad. And there is a notable problem with bishop e6, though. He plays knight a4 after 3 minutes. Definitely not enough. And let's see what he says he should have played. Bishop b5, correct. I am really not willing to give up my bishop for the knight. However, the critical thing about understanding this is we do have a threat, and we have a second threat with f5. And see, f5 is a move we want to play anyway, and it would really touch his coconuts if we played f5. And nota bene, the whole idea of the system is that this bishop is actually our poor piece, our poor bishop of the two. This is our star, because these are all on light squares. Right? So bishop b5 is a star move. I remember actually looking at this position when I was designing the repertoire, and I remember it was like, oh, this is kind of complicated, because bishop b6 doesn't do that much. The double pawns don't mean that much. But bishop b5 is a hell of a drug, because bishop b6 is fundamentally misplaced. Okay, so here we go. Boom. And now our pawn structure gets shattered. He doesn't want to have it. I agree. He should have taken. Boom, boom. And now you're obsessed with leaving that pawn on the bishop on c4. And definitely bishop b5 looks good. Bishop e6 also, too. Castles. Now, is black clearly better? I don't know. Knight e4 is definitely a thought. Now black should take on f4. And now we should play f5. He gave us a big chance here. f5. And now all of your crimes are forgiven. All of your crimes are forgiven after f5. Because even here on knight d4, we're not even going to take. We're going to say, buddy, you have let me realize the dreams of Federico. All my pawns on light squares, my bishop a champion, and then you will have to have nightmares for the rest of the game about this. And I'm no hurry to do it. And I'm in control. Notice, I control the light squares with the pawns and the bishop with the dark squares. So mistake, and now our e4 pawn is really in trouble. Now, h6. Probably a good move. And now hg for sure. To me, this does not look equal. It looks like black should be better because, let's say, knight g4. I mean, he can take this pawn, right? They can take their little coconut. Mistake. And now, yeah, now we're looking good. Rook f4, on principle, fine. Good. A little passive, but we feel for him. Now we should be winning. Rook h4, there you go. King g7. So yeah, just bring in the other rook. And you are crushing him. Oh, man. Oh, a3 vows. Oh, no. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. Let me just say, what is it about? It's about time. It's about time. Now, from this position, I'm just going to call out that it should still be fundamentally winning because you have the force count over here. Queen a5 suggests itself. You know, it's not going to be easy for this dude. All we had to do, and you kind of saw it back here, was you needed to bring more people into the game, right? You talk about rook h6. That's a nice move. Look at this one. Boom. That's right, buddy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very nice. And also, just on a, so that's a tactic. But then also in this position, either one of these moves, your force count on the king side is so massive, dude is not going to live. It's not going to live. It's not going to live. Okay, so here we go. Now, let's just say rook a5. I'm going to call rook a5 the sober move or something like that, because then, you know, he's just much more active and there's no more queen f5 stuff. It looks like he's hanging his coconuts. So now you're back on top. I don't understand h3. Your rook f4 looks better. Good. Check the miserable king. I don't understand that move. And now we get him bows. Boom. Yes, sir. Boom. Ah, somebody did their Polgar mates. Bang. Nice. Oh, nice. That's what they get. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm actually going to go tomorrow morning. Oh, no, excuse me. Is that right? At some point, my notes for KGB, it was just this game 45. Normally, I don't cover it, but I had a reverse Benoni position where I kind of mucked it up. I won the game and stuff against the 2200, but it was a game 45. Got kind of messy. Reverse Benoni stuff. Okay. I'm going to cover that. I don't know if I might do it tomorrow. Depends. There's variables. There's variables in my future. So Das Debug, you can graduate already, Bows. Now, let's go to the next one. And we got, I think this is Da. Let's see if, oh, wait. Go back. Wait a second. I got the Prowl. in my list, but let me look on the EOL Discord over here. These are now people that I did a little Discord announcement, and I was like, who else should I have here? And yeah, DeProwl, but DeProwl is not showing up. Maybe somebody can help me out what their real name is. DeProwl. They might have a different name on the site that's different from their other one. Okay, then we have Kevin. I think that's, oh my God. We got too many Kevins. I'm pretty sure it's this Kevin. I'm pretty sure it's this one. I'll tell you what, you guys help me out. I'm going to continue on with the list because definitely Hupskirt's on here. Let's do Hupskirt. And we'll come back if we have time. The boomer is often confused by the different ratings and such. So, Hupskirt's in Holland. Beautiful chess country. Oh, but he also has an ECF. Guy's got all kinds of stuff going on. One of the goals of 3.0 is we get more regional ratings, such as the Dutch one in there. So a lot of this stuff with 3.0, you know, it doesn't have to happen exactly at 3.0. It's just little small. And as you guys have seen, like there's so many small improvements that happen just again and again. The main thing with 3.0 is to dial in the recs, you know. There's a lot of things to look at, and there's always new material, stats to consider. All right, here we go. This is Hupskirt. 310 hours Hupskirt is working. Dude is doing a lot of endgame, and Hupskirt, I think, is the REP master. You want to take somebody on in the REP match, boss? You want to prove yourself? That's what you got to be doing. It's the pro guy. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, hold on. So this is going to be the pro guy and the other Kevin. All right, let's do Hupskirt first. Clubs, Dutch Dojo, 8 members. Nice, dude. Okay. Hupskirt, we want you to bring the dojo to your club. That is our dream. You know, imagine it, your personal club over there. Bring some people in from the club, get a scoreboard going, and then you guys can train together. That's the dream. Okay, activity, he is crushing it, obviously. Most of the time spent in games analysis. Great. So let's take a look at one of these games. Please review the one after this. Okay, I will. So. Okay. I was thinking actually to do a dojo repertoire with the dragon. Either this or the accelerated dragon. Accelerated dragon's maybe a little bit more my speed. So, oh my God, the Hungarian dragon. Okay. He's got an idea anyway after bishop e3. Right. Queen b6. That's a highfalutin move, Mouse. So obviously the main move is castles. This is some high fancy stuff. It looks very dangerous, but because I know it's okay for black, I was willing to go into it and dare to find the correct lines. Okay, I'm terrified. I'm scared. Here we go. Queen b4. And then he's got a crazy idea, bishop b3, knight e4. Dang. Rook b1. Now, apparently, white's already screwed it up. So, dude, that's, you know, I guess this queen b6 is some fancy stuff, dude. Huh. Well, that's a fascinating move. Okay. Now, one of the things I just want to point out, and this was critical to the whole development of the poison pawn variation, is it's not just that you've stolen a pawn but that the split pawn of the c2 weakness, it really pays off in the long run for black. So it's not just a pawn, it's a key structural problem. And with the bishop on g7, like, I can imagine, like, as long as we don't lose our coconuts, we should be okay. We might be losing our coconuts here, though. There might be some coconuts that are lost. Okay, he's clearly, maybe he's got other moves. This goes down. This goes down. And now I guess we're okay, because we're not losing our coconuts. So, boom, boom. Okay, obviously that's not what we wanted. And doesn't that mean then that a6 is a mistake? Right? Unless you think that this position is also, I'm just trusting him too, that this is the main sauce. But there's no reason to think that white's worse here, right? So let's get into this. So king f7, queen c4. My God. d5. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is what we're saying, is that king f8 was actually a mistake, and Hupskirt hasn't noted it. There might be something stronger than bishop v3. All right, so let's look at this. I knew I had gone from winning to on the worst side of equal. In the past, it might have gotten to me more, but I told myself the winning position was from prep anyway, so I didn't really deserve it. If you told me before the game I'd get this position, I wouldn't mind it. Okay. Intuitively, rook fd1 looks a little stronger to me. And then this is easing your problems. Good. Good. Now, one of the cool things about this position is what white probably doesn't appreciate is that black has now got reasonable counter chances because our king is much better than the white king. Good. I would rather be black here, honestly. I don't know what's happening, but I'd rather be black here. So you talk about king f2. But on king f2, don't you get to play bishop d7? Why are you worse? You know, play this next. Fix your rook. Bring your coconut over if you need to. Oh, Kraai, you can't be doing that. Sorry, it's a long day. This pawn is hanging, buddy. Okay, king f2. Maybe you are getting squeezed here. I don't really believe it, but maybe it's true. Nah, it can't be true, Mouse. I'll play you. Well, maybe it's a little coconut touch time. No, I believe that with your king being okay, you should be fine. King f2 is, by the way, for sure the right move. A default move for us here would be a5, a4, rook a6. And then I think we're going to be fine there as well. Okay, so e5, mistake. No one knows. I don't get it. Good move. Good. Good. And what we can say is Hubskirt has done the rook endgame progression and understands that he is doing fine. He is doing fine. Our king is better. We're up a pawn. And I would want here to at least talk about rook takes c5. But this position's so nice. Why are we going that way? Why aren't we going this way, Bows? All right, go that way, buddy. Rook d7 next. This guy's a chump. All right, bishop c8. Isn't that just a nice coconut? He's just hanging all his coconuts. He's just giving all to us, dude. And now we play rook c3. And Hubskirt talks about b6. I mean, we're just winning now, right? We are simply winning. This is probably also winning. Why are we going that way? Why are we going this way? Weird. Spent some time on how best to improve my position. I didn't really sense any danger. And then I guess he's doing some fancy stuff here with king a7. Also, tell us what you should have done, Bows. You know, there's a various moves you can think about. b5, h4 looks good. h4, I mean, the guy's, what is he supposed to do? Resign? I don't know. This is madness. And then you talk about rook a2, and then obviously this was your trick. Okay, now, this is fun for the dojo because Hubskirt is the master of the rook endgame progression. This position, well, he's got a nice clear advantage, right? So this is fun, and he should believe in himself here. So king e2, and now I think for Hubskirt, it would be great to annotate this. We're going to see, though, look, I mean, look at the, you know. So a lot of times when you're annotating the game, you could say to yourself, oh, I was in deep time pressure, so I'm not going to analyze it too deeply. You know, definitely we understand when somebody says it like that. Anyways, here we go. I think h4 we could talk about. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. King d2, I don't know. They could have thought about, it's hard for them, dude. I definitely would want some variations here instead of just writing h3. Okay. Check the miserable king. King e4. I want some variations there. Check. So Hubskirt posted, actually sent me a message about where he got one of the rook endgame progressions in here. And I think we're leading. It's got to be this game here. So this position should be drawn because white can achieve a Lucena position. Excuse me, a Philidor position. So e4, controversial. He can no longer check along the a file. So the method would be rook a3. That's the method. Now, actually, this would be worthy of some analysis too because, okay, let's think about this. So does it make any difference that the e-pawn's there? I don't think it does. So eventually, let's say we kick it. Okay, you're going to push, and then we go. And you got to do this. And yes, I can't check you, right? But I don't think it even matters if you win this pawn. I'm not going to give it to you for free, but, you know, yeah. So terrible move. Somebody who doesn't understand the Philidor position. King e3. Now, let me show you something. King f3 is actually significantly better. Maybe your king e3 is also winning, but notice with king f3, we do not want him to allow him to go to the short side. And we have a simple threat of boom, boom. And rook e5, e3 is the end. So king e3. Now you're worried about that pawn. That pawn's a chump. That pawn's a chump, son. Right, and so what this rook a4, I get it, we're in time pressure here, but what this rook a4 shows is that you are obsessed about that pawn, right? Right, so rook a4. King f2. Yeah, dude, look at this. This is so cool because Hubskirt, dude, has done the rook endgame progression and knows that this is a draw. His opponent does not. I can't even be. Let me just back up and tell a little story. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon. The story I want to tell is this. So when we first had Dojo 1.0, and one of the things I said when I created the rook endgame progression was I said, hour for hour, this is probably the most important thing that you can do. It's difficult, and people don't like it because it can be complicated, but this will give you the greatest gains over your chess career. For one, it gives Hubskirt the confidence to be like, oh, I'm going to take this dude down. I might have blown it earlier, but I can take the dude down. And then he knows about this kind of thing, dude. Yeah. And now we're in. Nice. Boom. No, he hasn't quite mastered it yet. So, yeah. And by the way, you're in time pressure, it's hard. But definitely e3 is the known way. Check to the miserable king. Rook a5, take it while you can. Let's just say you need checking distance in this typical long side, short side position. Excellent notes. Rook b3. King e2. To me, sparring them isn't as much about knowing the position, but rather what traps and tricks work versus human. And again, rook a3. He doesn't understand it, though. He fell for the trick. Boom. Nice. Welcome to the rook endgame progression, Bows. Nice. Very nice. Okay, this win puts my live national rating at 2,000. Fantastic, dude. Fantastic. You guys, I got to get out of here. I had no idea it was this late. I got children to deal with. What are they doing? They're watching TV all day. What are we doing? What are we doing here? I will, however, make I'm going to make a habit out of doing this. Let me just say that I need Kostya and David to help me out, buddy. Help me out, man. Anyways, there's so many games to look at now, and it's part of what the senseis need to do. And I really want to give a shout out to all these people. Some of these people I didn't even get the chance to look at their games yet. But it is in many ways the heart of the dojo when we have players like Hubskirt looking at lower rated players' games, right? Fantastic. All right, you guys, I got to get out of here.